Monday, so it's time for Scraplift Crafternoon. So let me show you the layout. I think Miss Kristen picked this one, and I have to say I'm grateful and appreciative because it's fairly simple. It has like a white cardstock with like 1, 2, 3 pattern papers, and then they used, this might be stitching. This is by Lillian S. Scraprier. I feel like that's French, y'all, but I don't speak French, so there's no telling. But anyways, it looks like she either stitched or something around the edges. I'm going to probably use a black marker, but I love it because I've got 3 pattern papers here and basically a 4x6 or something like that vertical photo. And then she's just kind of got like, you know, the title going around here. So, sorry, Miss Tara's messaging me. So what I have here is also, I'm now on the Counterfeit Kit Challenge design team. And you should have seen a video on the first revealing the inspiration kit and then my stuff that I put together. And I've actually already made my layout for challenge number 2. So make sure y'all watch for that. But that's not till later in the month. But this is what I have left over from having made that layout. And I think it's kind of perfect because there's just like, you know, I can use some of these scraps or whatever. Actually, I guess there's technically full-size piece. But I'm going to probably use a tan or card or whatever this is called. Is it tan? Is it cardstock or craft? Whatever. For mine, I might trim this just a hair because I feel like hers is narrower for some reason. And I'm going to use that. This is my daughter. It's her first day of 11th grade. I always had her hold her fingers like whatever particular grade she was. So this was 11th grade. Y'all, nobody beat her. She played soccer, so she got kicked a lot. So she's all right. But this is her first day of 11th grade. So I'm thinking I'm going to do that. And I think these are kind of neat. So I've got like I can pull out 2014 out of this. There's also these cool letters. I actually really like this piece of paper. And I didn't even know I had it till I went looking for my stash bash and stuff here. Now I have these little words here. I don't know if they'll work. We'll have to dig into that. Of course, a little bit of ephemera stuff here. So titles. I kind of like these little yellow letters. I don't know that I'll get into this because it doesn't really show up on the Scraplift there. So we'll see. Anyways, that's where I'm starting. Let me, I'm going to trim this just a hair, and then I'm going to kind of figure out my scraps here. I got 1, 2, 3, right? So I've got 1, 2, and I think I'll use this as 3. That might be what we got going on. Although this is a good little scrap too. Y'all. All right, well, let me figure that out, and I'll be right back on. All right, gang, so I have got my little craft cardstock ready to go, and I'm just going to trim my pattern papers down here. I trimmed them down to, I believe it was 2.5 by 10.5, or no, excuse me, it was 2 by 10.5. And I'm just going to organize those. I will trim my paper down just a tad. I am leaving on that right hand side. Y'all might not can see it. I'm not really sure. Maybe if you pause and zoom in or some such. But on the right hand side of the yard right there behind her is her little varsity letter. And what I mean by, we had a little wood, she was on the varsity soccer team, and they had these little wooden H's for her school and her number and stuff like that. So that's in there, and I didn't want to cut that out. So that's why I was a little bit precious about where I was cutting that. But I did narrow that picture up just a little bit. And I've cut out the little plaid, and I've cut out that other little pattern. I don't even know what you call that. Some kind of little swirly, scallopy, leaf-looking pattern. And then I've got my letters here, and I really like that pattern there. Right? It's kind of neat. And I think it's kind of neat because it goes like almost like school, you know, if you think letters and stuff like that. And I'm fixing to cut away because all I'm doing right here is just drawing this little black line on these things where she had it, I think, like I said, stitched. So I'm going to cut away in just a second because I'm going to do all 3 sheets of paper. And then the next thing I'm going to show you is look at that. I had glue on the back of that paper and it stuck to my arm. So I'm just gluing that down. And the next thing I'm going to do is take my pen and just outline. I may glue the picture first, though, now that I say that. I don't know why I'm being so precious with this thing, except I want it to be just, you know, kind of, well, I do too. It kind of looks weird if it's not straight or spaced right. So anyway, I got my 3 strips of paper down, and I've got my picture, and I'm going to glue that down in just a second. And then I'm going to take my black pen and make a big rectangle or frame around it, and I'll just use my ruler here. And I mean, I'm not going to sit here and tell you, like, I didn't really measure this really or anything like that. I mean, I kind of used my eye. But it's fine. It's supposed to look a little bit, I don't want to say hand-drawn, but kind of. I don't really mind that it looks a little bit hand-drawn. I could even have done this freehand. It looked kind of neat too. But I didn't. I decided to go ahead and use a ruler with this. So I made my little rectangle here. This is going to move along pretty quickly because as you can see, I mean, there's not much. I mean, I didn't even mat the photo because she didn't mat her photo, and I actually was kind of pleased with that. So I'm just going to make my little frame here, and then I'm going to start pulling out my embellishments. And I've only got a limited amount, right? Because I set my little kit up, and I've only got a little bit of limited amounts here. So I'm going to pull this little thing here. It says lead with your heart, I believe is what that says. Sorry, I'm not looking at the complete layout. I'm on the screen right now. But I look at these little titles, and I thought about it because it kind of, I thought, well, maybe I could use something on the bottom, but I decided against it. I set it aside, and I actually never use it. This little tag was in my little counterfeit kit here, and I like it because it's got a little Starbucks or a little coffee cup on the lower right. And at that time, she definitely was a Starbucks fan, man. She would get a coffee all the time. She was definitely a fan. So that kind of fit. And then there was a little ticket. And honestly, I was kind of thinking in my head, like prom tickets or things like that. But it's also the right color. So I went ahead and stuck that on the little tag. And that's going to kind of make up a little set over there. I will run and get some string and not leave my tag with a little naked hole there. But and then I found this little circle there in the lower right of the photo. And then I'm going to, with a little phrase in there, and then I'm going to pull out this 2014 because that's when this was. I do have to snip off the little pieces that, hang on to them, to the, I don't know what that's called when that's like attached like that. I feel like I've seen this little design, or not design, I want to use a design, engineering design or whatever, how they attach these letters like this. I've seen them somewhere else, but I can't place it at the moment. So I put 2014. I'm thinking, okay, well, I kind of want to use these yellow letters. So I decided to spell out the word junior. Now, if I'm honest with you, I ended up covering her feet up a little bit. Not a little bit, a lot, really. And I'm a little bit sad because those were cute shoes. She was real cute. She had real cute clothes. This was when she kind of started what they call it glowing up, right? Up until she was probably maybe the end of her sophomore year. She used to wear them long basketball pants, kind of a tomboy, And then she started dressing real cute. She got tall, long red hair, all that thing. And she started glowing up there. So she looked cute, and them shoes were cute. And y'all, she's real tall too. She's about 5'11", and those shoes right there she has on were heels. So she was probably 6'4" walking down the hallway. But she didn't mind it, man. She owned that height. She was really proud of that. So then I get in my creative imaginations letters here, and it said I pulled up the word year. Now at first I stick it to the left over there, and I thought, well, that doesn't look exactly right. So I'm gonna pull it back. I'm gonna have to pull my 2014 down just a little and reorganize the word year. I think I might pull that to the right. I'm trying to remember now. I have to reorganize it just a little bit because it wasn't laying exactly where I wanted it. It kind of looked a little strange. So yeah, there I pull that 2014 down. I'll move that over. And I like that. I think that looks pretty. I brought in the two colors, that are in my little kit. And I think that looks pretty. Now I will have to use a little Nuvo glue on these. And honestly, I might leave that in here, and I shouldn't. I can't swear on it, though. Maybe I've cut it out. Typically, my process, y'all, by the way, when I do these videos is I'll put the clips in here, and I'll kind of edit out stuff that I go, well, that's kind of boring. And then I come back over in the voiceover, and sometimes I don't remember what I've edited out. Here's where I've got a little sticker that says something like wake up and take on the world or something like that. And then there's a little half circle, and I kind of like that down that lower left. I'll actually end up pulling out some of these little brads here. Now, I've taken the brads and I've cut off the little legs of them, the little pointy things. I've snipped all those off already, so you didn't have to watch that. So I'm going to start adhering everything down. So I'm gluing my tag, and then we'll put my little foam dots and stuff. I find that little brad there, that was in that little collection. They had little colored circle papers around the brad. I think that looked neat too, because there's a lot of different little colors over there. So I'm going to put that down there. And I've kind of got things where she had them. I will say that I put brads in places where she might have had a different little shape or something, but since my kit embellishments are so limited, and I'm trying to be true to the concept of using my counterfeit kit, I didn't go off and get anything else. So I had to use brads in a couple of places that she had, like a little arrow, I think, and stuff like that. But I like how this turned out. I'm not unhappy at all. And I used up quite a bit of my little kit. I know I can get one more layout. I don't know if I can get much more. And I don't know, I need to build bigger kits the next month. So I don't really know because I'm kind of using them up pretty fast. But I will say the whole counterfeit kit thing the intention is to use stash. And I am definitely getting into stuff that I probably would never have pulled out otherwise. So I'm kind of proud of that. And then I really appreciated this layout Kristen picked. I'm pretty sure it was Kristen because it was kind of quick and simple. And I needed to get it done in the morning time before we headed off to the gym. So I was really pleased. Now, I do use that glossy accents to glue some of these brads down. I've just found that trick to be a little bit better rather than trying to use foam dots or something. I just can't get that to work real good. So glossy acid's worked for me. But this is where I'm having to use this Nuvo glue to glue down my little numbers. I've mentioned this before. They are self-adhesive, but the adhesive is just so old. They don't have any sticky to them. I don't use any mixed media or anything like that. I think the clean lines kind of it might have messed it up. So I left it clean. I didn't add anything else to it. And so that is all I'm going to do to the layout, y'all. So take a look here. This is the slowdown. You can kind of see little pieces and parts and that. I like this, actually. This turned out real cute. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to look below. There'll be a playlist for the Scraplift Crafternoon. I'll probably try to include the counterfeit kit blog link as well. So thank you so much. Oh, that one's sideways, y'all. Sorry about that. And we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.